Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager Season 2, Episode 20, Investigations. As you can see, I am finally home from my travels, and it's amazing. But that's not the point. Let's get to the episode. So this was an okay episode. It was pretty interesting, and it's kind of the peak of the episode. So most of Star Trek, for like the original series especially, The Next Generation, and Voyager, is very, very episodic. You start in one point, you go through a journey, and you end at the other. Whereas Deep Space Nine is very well known for having these long stories where something happens and like 5 episodes later, like it references that point, and you don't get one of those like previously on. Like if you didn't see that episode, you're lost. And which is kind of the reason Star Trek Deep Space Nine didn't do very well when it first aired, but it's having this huge surge right now because we're in today's society where we're able to binge things and we're able to watch them in long stretches all at one time. And people can watch like Deep Space Nine and get all of these little shout outs and all of these little references that they didn't catch back in the day when it first aired. And this episode is kind of the peak of that for Voyager, where this is Voyager's attempt at that. So in the last several episodes, we've seen Tom Paris basically being a dick, to be completely honest with you. And he's not being a nice person. He's being very uncharacteristic, where like he's just not dressing properly. He's always late for his shifts, and all sorts of other stuff is going on. And at the end of the last episode is the point where he shoves Chakotay, and finally Janeway gets involved and tells Tuvok to take him to the brig. And so this episode is almost like the second half of that, where we realize that Paris is decided to leave the ship. A Talaxian gets in contact with Neelix, which I think this is now the third Talaxian that we've seen, like counting Neelix. There was Neelix, there was one in the Vidian episode, and then now this one. And so this guy's like, oh, hey, we're rendezvousing with you to take somebody on board. And so Neelix kind of, the episode starts out with him having this new channel, which, seeing as how I have a new channel, I feel like there's some connection there. And it's a briefing with Neelix, and because he's the morale officer, and it's almost like a talk show where he's just trying to connect with the crew. And so Neelix goes to Janeway, and like, I honestly feel like Voyager did such a good job having Paris develop with these attitude problems, and then this is the point where it all kind of comes to a point, and I feel like they kind of fumbled a little bit, where you can clearly tell that Janeway and Tuvok were faking it, and when they're talking to Neelix, and they purposely gave him this information, knowing he was going to take it and run with it. It's one of those where you want to spread a rumor, so who do you tell? The one person you know that's going to tell everybody. I mean, we've all been there, we've all done that. And so Neelix, of course, like goes on his talk show and is like, Paris is leaving, and this is a travesty, and it's just so sad. And it is what it is. Like, it was kind of an interesting moment to watch Neelix do this, but as the episode developed, and Neelix really kind of takes the spotlight, where he starts looking for like, oh, somebody's been sending like subspace messages to the Kazon, and they're trying to find out who it is. And he goes to B'Elanna, and he goes to this other person, and Michael Jonas is in the background the whole time. And at one point he like picks up it's like an arc welder or something, and it's an intense moment. And of course, again, Janeway's plan kind of backfires, where it starts to look like Paris was sending the Kazon messages. Because as soon as Paris joins the Talaxian ship, he gets kidnapped. And so Neelix goes on a show and is like, Paris was like the scoundrel all along, and he was doing this. And Janeway, just her look when she talks to Tuvok, and she's like, get him here now. Like, it was intense to kind of watch that. Overall, the episode was really good. We realized Paris was doing this all along, and it was only Paris, Janeway, and Tuvok that were in on it. And Chakotay kind of gets upset, where he's like, you know, if he was going to be insubordinate, you should have told me. And Janeway's like, we needed a really good performance, and you did a hell of a job. And it's kind of funny, but it's not, whatever. I would feel really attacked and kind of betrayed, but I also kind of see her point of view. Paris does end up coming back on the station, or onto the ship, with being attacked by the Kazon, and the episode kind of has this big climax where Neelix is trying to like basically fight Jonas, because Jonas is locking out the weapon systems and he's putting force fields up, trying to help the Kazon. And he goes to attack Neelix, and he basically ends up being flung into like the warp core. And it's an intense scene. Like this whole episode, like it has really good points, and then it has not so good points. But it's kind of interesting to watch the Paris storyline come to an end and the Jonah storyline come to an end. But overall, I did think it was really good. I enjoyed it more than I had thought I would. Now, it's difficult to kind of watch these episodes in hindsight, because some of these things I remember and some of these things I don't. Whereas if I was watching this all brand new, it's difficult to say. Would I have known that Paris was faking it this whole time? I don't know. But, which it's going to be more interesting when I start to get to like Discovery, where these episodes are brand new every week, and you guys are going to see me do these reviews, and I'm going to be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, like, who knows? But for this one, I feel like it was a little predictable, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. For those who have seen this one, go ahead, let me know what you guys thought about Paris's, like, just his overall attitude. Like, did you think that he was just being written as a bad guy, and then you were surprised? Did you know it was going to be a big twist? What did you think about Neelix's talk show, and what did you think about Jonas's, like, being a traitor? Go ahead, let me know. Thank you guys for subscribing. It means so much to me, and I will see you guys next time for Deadlock.